Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is a market analysis update for Monday, July 21st, 2014. We're going to take a look at the Dow Industrials, the indicators, and then we're going to look at 5 stocks: Caterpillar, Apache, Tesoro, Valero, and United States Steel. Okay, today the Dow was down 48.48 points. It had been a lot lower than that, actually a little over 100 points down at its low for the day, but it did not break the low of the 17th, which was last Thursday, and that big sell-off day that we had when that airline disaster happened, the Ukraine, that terrorism act, or whatever you want to call it. So now the choppiness continues in here with the Dow Industrials and with the market in general. And we still continue to have the indicators. That hasn't changed. Basically, we've had one day of trading. We did not break Friday's high. So we took out slightly the low on Friday, but we're still trading within the range of Thursday, as you can see in here. But we're still above the 21, or the 10, and the 10's above the 21, and 21's above the 55. So not a whole lot's changed in one day. And the S&P 500, a little tighter range in here between high and low on the S&P 500. And again, another inside day. And by inside day, I mean the high and low is inside the high and low of the previous day. Okay? So it's like it's tightening up. It's coiling a little bit. So no real indication other than, you got this divergence in here as to which way it might go, but we're just going to have to watch. We still got this trend line that it came down and hit on Thursday on the low. The NASDAQ, had the bullish action on Friday, taking out the high of Thursday, and then we go nowhere today. The little doji bar right in here, right below this trend line. So it's just basically a pause type day, giving us no real indication as to what's going on. Russell 2000, although we had this extremely bullish looking day on Friday, we didn't get any follow through. We did not take out the high on Friday. Again, a doji bar in here, real tight. So we'll have to see, is it this type of action where it had this bar? Now, this was a little more bullish encompassing. I'm actually surprised we didn't get more follow through than what we got here. So that could be somewhat negative. We'll just have to see. Again, it could just be a pause type, consolidation type day before it continues on. Short-term trading index pulled down just a little bit in terms of the 10-day moving average. The 10-day is at 0.991, so slowly moving back down, but not much progress. The VIX dropped down, or actually jumped up today a little bit from the close. Pretty much within the range of Friday when you think about it. Slightly got a little bit higher than Friday's high. Still kind of the pause type day, a doji type bar. And we'll have to see whether or not the moving averages are lining to the upside. We get this big thrust up here, and are we going to get any follow through? That's the real question. I don't want to look at new lows, and I want to look at the high-low net is what I want to look at. So again, not much movement. We're right down in here where we seem to be just, hanging sideways. After this big drop down and breaking this little trend line here, we're staying right in this mix. So we're not going anywhere on that. All right, that's kind of the market snapshot for today. I mean, we basically had one more day to look at from Saturday or from Friday. So not a whole lot. I think everyone's just kind of sitting back and looking at. We got a lot of earnings coming out this week. I think Apple's after tomorrow night. I think Facebook is one day this week. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of earnings coming out this week. And then, of course, this whole situation, Ukraine and the Middle East there with Israel, a lot of things are simmering. So we just we'll see what has to develop. Keep our finger on the pulse. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to start off with Apache. And again, these are not trade ideas per se. I'm just wanting to evaluate these 5 stocks that we really haven't looked at in a while. Apache has been in a very strong bullish mode here coming up. I think it's a big head and shoulders bottom, and it looks pretty bullish coming right off this shoulder. We were in this for a while, got out, and then wasn't able to get back in. I'm now thinking that we've had 1, 2, a strong 3, and we're getting a 4. And that's why, you know, after with this move right in here, it was really tempting to jump back in, but I didn't feel like we'd pulled back far enough because we haven't even gone a retracement of 23.6%, which is usually kind of the minimum that I'm looking for. Now, if this is truly 1, this deep 2, I'm looking for a shallow 4, but typically that shallow should go at least 23.6%. It's a Fibonacci number, the calculation that we use, and here's the next one, here's the next one, there's the next one. So 23.6% is the first threshold I'm looking for. So that's what I'm watching to see if this will pull back down like that. And maybe it's pulling back to the 55, which is, you know, rising at a pretty nice pace. So that's what we'll be looking for to see if we can get back on board. The next one is Caterpillar, and Cat is really kind of, surprise, surprise, mirroring what the Dow Industrial is doing, because Cat is in the Dow Industrial. So we're getting this kind of look, and we're getting, you know, some divergences that are showing up in here on the indicators versus the price. But Cat made this downdraft here on Thursday the 17th, but no follow through. So again, you know, it's you know, the moving averages aligned, it's continuing to chop higher, and you really can't, you know, take a position to the downside till this starts to give you an indication that it's trying to break down, and hasn't really done that yet. Okay, and it's had a pretty good move. I really think we're in a 5th wave here from this. If you remember back, Cat was doing this big sideways chop in here, then we broke higher. It looks to me like here was a wave 1, a sharp wave 2, wave 3, and then a flat wave 4, this A, B, C, expanded flat in here. And now I think we're in a 5th wave, and we're getting this chop in this final 5th wave, kind of an ending what a lot of times in LA wave you call these triangles. A lot of times they don't look like triangles, but for lack of a better term, that's what you call them. Okay, so we're going to be watching that closely because I think Cat could be getting ready to break down. Tesoro is starting to break down through here. It's broken this minor trend line here. It's broken, actually this trend line is from mid-May. So really what, about the last 2 months, 8 weeks, you know, broke that trend line, broke the short-term trend line. So it's starting to break down a little bit, but it has pushed with this as to a higher high above here. So, you know, I had this move, pull back, pushing to a higher high, could be nothing more than just a retracement back. I'm not sure what kind of wave count. If we look at this, it looks pretty choppy. I mean, Tesoro makes a lot of really choppy type moves in here. So honestly, don't have any particular scenario. You know, you almost have to sometimes, you know, you look at these things and you sit back and almost want to sit, you know, stand back about 5 feet and look at them as if you're looking on a wall and say, okay, what is really happening here? What's materializing? And it just looks like it's just chopping sideways, and then within that big sideways swings, you're getting further chop. So it doesn't give me a big comfort feeling, let's put it that way, in terms of trying to set up and play it. Valero, on the other hand, a little less choppy, a little more defined in the swings that it's making, but the swings are, you know, the waves are getting overlapping in here. Like, see how this overlapped with this high and pulled back, and then we broke this trend line, big gap in here. So this is why sometimes when you think a Head and Shoulders is developing, this is why a lot of times guys like to get in on the shoulder. Okay, because sometimes it'll break down and just doesn't give you that chance. And so you're taking a little bit of a chance getting in early, but you know, that's the price you pay. You risk you pay. I'll never forget. I was on had a trade one time that I was stocking Texas Instruments. This was years ago, and it was a beautiful Head and Shoulders top. And I remember thinking I was literally like a day away. I was going to get in the very next day, and the next day it opened and dropped $40 a share. And I was heartbroken because I mean, I would have made a killing on the play, and it just plunged just kind of like this, only it was a hell of a lot more dramatic, you know, coming down off that right shoulder. So you just never know. I mean, you can't predict. You just try to get in and make the play as best you can. So here we have Valero trading below the 10. The 10's below 21. So we've got a downtrend going on after breaking this trend line. It's now close in here. We're getting a little bit of divergence as it's approaching the 233-day and some support in here where you got previous buying came in like here and in that area. So it may start to try to get, you're not seeing it on the RSI, you're seeing it on the demand index, and you're seeing it a little bit in terms of divergence on the directional movement, DI minus in here, and the DI plus. It's not continuing to weaken as it sold off. So we could start to see Valero start to turn and try to get some buying coming in. So if you're short, and if you've been short, you may want to look at tightening up your stops. That would be the message here. Try to tighten up your stops to grab your profits, because a lot of times, you know, these rallies in these bear moves can really snap it back from you. Okay, let's see. That was really, and the last one we're going to take a look at is U.S. Steel, real quick here. This is broken this trend line here. It moved above it, pulled back down. We've got a short term, the 10 above the 21 and above the 55. It's looking like it's trying to trend higher in here. I like the way it's broken this trend line. So there's not a specific signal. I'm not seeing a specific setup, except for the fact that, you know, you could get a swing move. To at least try to challenge the prior high up here, which is at 31.15. So it's maybe 10-15% higher from here as a possible challenge. So it's not too bad. All right, so that's a look at those 5 stocks. I have got some trade ideas. We got stopped out of Twitter today. Small loss on it. The close was higher than the prior 2-day highs and the high of the prior 2 days. And so I stopped myself out on that. And we'll have the details on the Trade Ideas webpage. And then I do have another new Trade Ideas that I'm going to post on C-Trip, and then I'll put a short video related to that on C-Trip also. So, and I think I may be looking at a couple of the stops to tighten up on in the Trade Ideas. So, all right, this has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. That's it for tonight. Have a great Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll be back with you Wednesday evening. If this has helped you in any way, please share the video and share it on social media, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.